Yo, people of Twitch. Yo. There is only two people here. Theo and Desmond. Hello, and Weaver. Greetings, early arrivers indeed. What is up, early arrivers? How is it going? Happy Saturday. Oh my God. Saturday. How wonderful. Cards coming out. What a great time. We're almost seeing every card, actually. It's crazy. We've almost seen every single card. Is that wild? The man, the myth, the legend, Dexter. Where is he? People ask me about Dexter all the time. He posts videos, guys, just crypto videos. I know not everybody's into crypto, but if you want to see Dexter or talk to Dexter, I think you can just go check out his crypto channel. He's still alive. He still posts videos. If you miss him as a person, yeah, 2 days ago, video posted right here, Dexter Crypto, 2 days ago, 4 days ago. I guess he did take a bit of a break there, but still updating. Go say hello. Go tell him you love him. He's a cool dude. So yeah, today's stream, what are we gonna do? Well, we're going to finish this Duels run we started yesterday. This never works, but probably gonna have to just restart like always. It's fine. We're gonna finish the Duels run from yesterday. We're gonna talk about some of the new cards that came out. Got revealed, not came out, but got revealed, you know, whatever. We're going to actually have a couple of like little piece of content I wanted to kind of do a reaction to or whatever, you know, like a little discussion on regards to Hearthstone stuff. Hey, catch up. Hey, Jack Padilla. What's up? New Death Little Priest spinning in Duels. Yeah, right. Meta looks insane. Looks super fun. I love the design so far. Love the design so far. Oprah Sinfree, what's up? My favorite name. Such a good name. Andy Geo's in the house. Katie Page is here. Dre Deadeye's hanging out. I heard Ketchup looking good with that crazy sub badge. Your Tanger's here. Drago. This mini set is for Duels? Good. Sounds awesome. Sign me up. Sign me up. Hearthstone or also Hearthstone? Yeah, that was a surprising little Twitter thread, huh? Came out of nowhere. Hey, Zeddy, what's up? Do you stream on Saturdays, Zeddy? I don't even know. I feel like you stream every day, but I don't know. We're all here, says Caffeine and Bullets. All of us. All 5 of us is what my view count says right now. All 5 of us. Ace Be Mad wants a follow on Twitter. For sure. Happy to do that. Thanks, Ace Be Mad, for the 15,000 dust. More Duels? Oh, dude, I love to see you playing Duels, man. So exciting, dude. I know you've been speaking well of it, too. I love Duels being popular and growing. Like, I think you've said this, and I totally agreed, how Duels, in some weird way, feels more like kind of old-school Hearthstone, which I totally don't understand, because it shouldn't feel that way, but it kind of does. I feel like that, too. Really? You broke it down that much, huh? I didn't really go that deep into it yet. That's interesting. I do kind of get what you mean. Like, some of them aren't really game ending. You know, I think like Locust, you know, has a high game ending potential. And maybe the Frost one, 8 damage, like kind of does, but not really. Yeah, I need to take a closer look. I was actually thinking about doing a video this morning, kind of running through all the Duels treasures and for Kazakhstan and breaking down the ones you want. But a lot of the like minion-based ones in particular seem really underwhelming. So I'm intrigued how consistently you're going to be able to get the good ones, right? Like the game enders and stuff. Very intrigued. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like Duels doesn't seem like it should feel old school because there's just so many crazy high power things happening. But I feel like you get more of those like long back and forth matches, right? Like some of those like really tense, you know, alternating, like I'm winning, they're winning, I'm winning, they're winning. I feel like I don't get that as much in standard anymore. I feel like the result often feels pretty prescribed from very early in the game. Like, maybe not literally on turn one, although sometimes on turn one you feel hopeless against certain classes. But, you know, often by like turn 3 or 4, it's kind of like, I'm just not going to be able to do this, right? It almost feels like you're just kind of playing it out for the motions. But in Duels, I feel like I always have a chance and a hope, and sometimes I get those really nice back and forths, which I think is how old Hearthstone used to feel. Obviously, we look at stuff with rose-colored goggles or whatever they say, right? So you have about a 50% chance to see any particular treasure because you get 15 choices out of 29. Oh, 5 times 3, 15. Yeah, exactly. Okay, interesting. It also said you can't choose the same one twice, but it didn't say you can't see the same one twice, I think. I don't know for sure about that. 50% chance to see any particular treasure. I think that gives you a good chance to find some like good damage outs at least, right? The problem is really just going to be, can you spend 8 mana on Kazakhstan? 8 mana 8/8 is not, you know, it's not good. It's going to be tough to play an 8 mana 8/8, right? I gave Kazakhstan a good score because I wanted to out of like hype and fun, but ooh, I don't know. Rose-colored goggles is rose-tinted glasses. I, for some reason, thought the phrase was goggles instead of glasses. Maybe I'm just thinking of emerald goggles for Duels, huh? Yeah, if Kazakhstan had taunt, that would definitely help fix the problem for sure. Well, I mean, I don't think it totally fixed it, but it would help, right? It would mean your opponent at least has to interact a little, as opposed to now they just ignore it. Pyro with 40 months, dude. What's up, Pyro, man? Good to see you, dude. Crazy. I'm here to learn about duels. Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, I won't be able to teach you much, but I appreciate you hanging out anyway. I feel like for once I know something about the standard format that other players don't know. Like I actually know something pro players like, wait, what are these cards? How do these work? Not that it takes them more than 2 seconds to learn, but for that brief shining moment when Kazakhstan was revealed, I had a tiny informational advantage. Oh, man. Priest could make him a 5 mana 8/8. That would definitely help with like insights and stuff. Yeah, that would help. I mean, there is always that world where Kazakhstan becomes the Archivist Elysiana of the set, and like you play him late in the game, and the card quality is less relevant than the just fact that they are fatigue protections. But I don't see that. Like Hearthstone just doesn't go to those kind of matchups much anymore, right? Maybe a Priest could do that. But Priest, if that ever became a thing, Priest just starts running quest line instead, right? They just have a more guaranteed terminal game state they can achieve. Okay, anyway, let's start playing. Thanks everybody for the subs and kindnesses and bits and stuff. Escapes his grasp. You can get Quel'Dalar, I guess, technically, right? It's just going to be hard. It's going to be like, who's going to go for that high roll? As powerful as Kazakhstan. Oh, I read that. Yeah, the good old hour-long matchup against Priest back in the day. Well, I hope it happens again. You have to have at least one dragon in the deck for Kazakhstan to trigger. No, you can have nothing in the deck. You can have an empty deck. You can have only spells in the deck. They said on Twitter. You don't have to have a dragon. You just can't have a non-dragon minion. But you don't have to have a dragon. That's what they said on Twitter. I'm pretty sure I read that. Somebody tell me if I'm crazy or not, but That's what I read. Anyway, let's get this run kicked off. We're chatting a lot. It's nice, but let's you can get the parts, but it isn't Quel'Dalar starting game. So with Kazakhstan, if you pick both of the Quel'Dalar parts off of the Kazakhstan Discovers, it will form Quel'Dalar in your deck, and you will have a chance to draw Quel'Dalar. It obviously won't be start a game, but post Kazakhstan, you can get Quel'Dalar in Standard, which obviously I will attempt to do, but I don't think it will be a reliable, good choice for Kazakhstan. Because you can very much whiff. You can get one and not the other. You're not guaranteed to get offered both. But, like I said, we'll do it. Is it the same 6-mana 4/4 weapon? As I understand it, yes. I think so. Okay, so we're gonna play this run. If you haven't been here before, we're 2 losses. This is a fire / hero power mage. It's got this hero power for Drekthar, the Whirlwind, and we are using that in combination with Wildfire / Reckless Apprentice for either crazy removal or sometimes crazy damage off the Reckless Apprentice. If there's a big board, this honorably kills like everything, and we get like 15 damage sometimes. And then we also have Magister Unchained. This is a super fun card for like crazy miracle pop-off turns with bag of coins and a lot of flame waves and so on. So I think this deck is actually pretty crazy strong. Sometimes it has a chance to go for 12, but obviously, you know, with 2 losses, we could hit any bad matchup here and kind of falter at any point. But 7 wins is still super cool. Are you done with Standard like Kibler? I suspect Kibler's not done with Standard. I mean, probably just waiting for new cards to come out, right? But no, I'm not done with Standard. We just waiting for new stuff. I think there's an instinct to apply sort of permanence to any kind of streamer action. I don't know why that happens, but it happens a lot where anytime somebody does something a little different, it's assumed that that is the new status quo, as opposed to a deviation from the status quo. So, okay, there's a lot of potential dudes. Reckless Apprentice is nuts against those dudes. I'll get 87 damage, so... Well, actually, it's kind of better if they have high health, but, you know, whatever the case, it's fine. Let's keep this guy. Tour guide. Okay. I don't even remember having tour guide in this deck really, but I guess he's here. No flame spells, unfortunately. Armor gain and cycling. I mean, tour guide's good because, oh no, we don't have rally. Why am I thinking we had rally? That was the shaman deck we played. We definitely don't have rally the troops reach. Okay, so card draw is a real concern for me here. I do remember that being the case. That's why we liked Magister Unchained so much, I think, isn't it? But that's okay. We're just chilling. No rush here anyway. We're very good at killing these, if that's the only major threat. So, like, Mordresh obviously looks like something that's going to happen, but no double Mordresh, so not crazy damage outs. So I can keep my health total relatively high. We should be fine. You know, like, that's good card draw, actually, yeah. Odds of Frost spell's so low, but oh my god, we actually hit it. Wow. We're gods, dude. That's so rare. I have hardly any, I feel like. I mean, there's probably more than I think because we picked up some random Frost stuff and stuff, but still. We're more of a fire deck for sure. Doing more wild content? Yeah, I actually have a few different wild things planned. Yeah. I have always in the back of my pocket, I actually made a bunch of like logos for branded video series. Like I did the Try Hard Regis with like the Die Hard logo, you know. I did one for Mercenaries, which I will never use, I don't think, but theoretically, if we ever go back to Mercenaries, I did one for Wild called Regis Gone Wild, and I did one for Battlegrounds called Triple Threat, because we could be a triple threat in Battlegrounds if we want. So this is actually a decent Reckless on curve. It's like a little wasted in theory because I'm clearing a lot of my own board here, but it's a lot of damage output. We can do it, it's fine. This guy's alive, right, at the end of it. 5 damage, cool. I like damage. Flame Wave's damage starts stacking up, right, so we'll be good. Already seen Regis gone wild. Yeah, like that one's gonna be a pay-per-view. If you want to watch me play wild, you gotta pay, right? That's not free. That's no freebie here. Vaporize, finally a freaking fire spell, dude. Oh my god, I forgot about counterspell. I'm such an idiot. Does this still count as flame waves? Not even sure that was wrong, by the way. I don't really need the vaporize that badly. Does flame waves go off? No. Spell has to resolve, okay. I would argue I cast the spell, but, you know, didn't resolve, so it's okay. I'll take it. We'll accept that. Flurry. Definitely want to prefer to save the flurry for the, Magister Unchained if I can, but I have a lot of cards right now, so I don't know. We need to do something. Apprentice does not clear the 3/6. Here's a fire spell that's nice, maybe. Could also just kind of Frost Nova and chill, though. Because I'm not really in a big hurry here. Let's do that. I need to draw, and I'll have to play a card here, of course. Oh my god, so many freaking 0 mana plays. Let's just get the henchman out. Might be nice when the board can't interact particularly well. Could hit face for 6 potentially. I got a lot of armor gains to deal with here though. Like, this Arctic armor is stacking up fast. Guess that was mostly this, but you know, whatever. There's potentially a lot of armor incoming. Okay, so now we've got, oh, okay, so now Reckless is a clear, and quite a bit of damage, actually, as well. That'll obviously make more trash ready to go, too. Yeah, we can go Reckless into Arcane. These Recklesses technically do a little better whenever we have some of our own Firekeeper's Idols minions, but we just haven't had any yet, right? Like, we just don't have many. So instead we're... Ooh, hand is suddenly big. Also, Wildfire is kind of free-ish now because we played our Recklesses. Like, sometimes this is a downside because you can't do those turns. That said, I might want to keep this at 1 just to better deal with these guys, right? Like, 1 gives me more damage output. So this is suddenly an insane Mordresh. Like, actually just busted. Excellent clear, and we still get the damage we care about, which is nice. So now we're getting close to Flame Waves being like a real lethal threat, right? We need 10 fire spells basically to win now. Which might not be too hard to pull off. Okay. So I can go for an insane Magisters here. Flame Cannon kills that, so that's good. I mean, I hate playing the Magisters with a full hand, because fire spells screw me, but whatever. We'll do it. Because fire spells give me these 1/2s. But it's fine. We can play non-fire spells as well, right? Oh, this also fills my hand with too much garbage. Crap. It's fine. It doesn't actually matter. It's fine, it's fine. Oh, shoot. Am I gonna have a lethal, maybe? No, it wasn't a mistake! I wanted to do it that way! Actually, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. This is wildfired, right? So... It's not wildfired, guys. I thought I played the wildfire already. I thought I had lethal. I thought I had lethal. I mean, whatever. It's a good turn, just not perfect. I could have gone back at coin wildfire. I think, although I don't know, because the coin might have got burned by the coin might have got burned by the card draw off the guy, right? So it may not have actually been. So maybe not. Scratch that. So this is an easy 6. Assuming that's not like a counter spell or whatever. I guess Ice Block is also a threat. Spellbitter doesn't matter. That's fine. Cool. Okay. Deal. This is like Giga Lethal now. Don't even need this because of the flame waves, but it's cool. Whatever. Okay. That was fun. Not perfect yet again. Pretty sure I've messed up every game with this deck at some point. The hands with the Magister hands always go a little wacky. So, yeah, we don't need these. This is fine. Well, my mouse sensitivity is weird. Yeah, I did. I decided not to wildfire, so I didn't fill up on 1/2s, right? Okay, it was fine. Doesn't really matter. The deck is so strong, we have margin of error built in a little bit, right? Da, 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 da. Guys, I drank a whole one of these before. I'm gonna have to piece in. I goofed up, dude. I've been drinking way more water lately, which I'm sure is a great choice overall, but it makes the pee breaks on stream dramatically more often and urgent, I feel like. I don't know. It feels like Firekeepers would be better if it only summoned the 1/2s. Yeah, for this deck, maybe, yeah. I mean, it's not bad sometimes to have mana fill, right? It's not bad. I missed some bits. Oh, I did. Pyro with 100 bits says, have you ever made such a sick Excel spreadsheet but you have no one to share it with because it's not relevant to them? Yes, everything Regis related. I have so many charts and 6 years of data collection and calendars and content ideas and sponsor lists and tracking and emails and literally everything, and no one cares except me. Absolutely useless to everyone else on the planet. What is going on here, man? I might just take the pee break now because I'm afraid if I get into a long game. Yeah, I'm going to. I'm going to take a pee break. I'll be right back. We'll keep this rolling. Sorry for the early break here. Okay, now we go. Now we go! Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, woke capitalist is really mad. I'm a capitalist. Oh man, we could have been friends. How sad. Lost the friendship today. No. Mods, no, I approved it. It looked funny. I'm woke, you ain't woke. I don't even know what woke means. I woke up today, barely. What did you do then, Regis? I don't know. He isn't like Gingers. Hey, congrats on the sub, woke capitalist. Oh my god. Wow, dude, now you get to be a part of the community. How awesome for us. We're so lucky. Yeah, this actually is a pretty neat hand, right? Some card draw, some fire stuff, some pure power reactionary stuff, and Frostwave School. Rally and recycling. Man, more armor gain can be tough. Glacial shard on 1. Whoa. Whoa! Whoa! Whoa, dude. Do I go Mindpocalypse early? I mean, I can hero power, I guess. I don't hate it. Saves me 2 health. Like, yeah, they get cards, but I need cards too, right? I need cards too. Which hero power is this? Is the same as mine? No, oh yeah, this is neutral dudes. Okay, we're gonna be pretty good at reacting to dudes, I think, because of flame waves, right? So, not super worried about dudes coming down. Woke Capitalist says, he beat me in a game, so I'm mad. Well, you're the only one of the day, man, so don't be too mad. Vaporize feels a little wasted. I mean, so does Flame Cannon, technically, right? But it's just kind of 2 damage to face. I mean, I can play a 1-1 or 1-2 though, so it's not wasted, I guess. We were like totally missing these last game. We just didn't hit any of our 1-2s, like early fire spells. So it's nice to have some actual board early here. Granite Forgeborn. Oh my god, these are so scary, dude. I do have good ways to answer these sort of boards, I think, though, for the record. So that's kind of nice. Like, I have... Frost Novas, I have. Reckless can clear, like, a big, crazy wide board, right? I'm sort of letting this Vaporize rot. He might think it's an Explosive Runes, though, so... Who knows? Maybe he'll trade. I just want the minions. I hate Forgeborn, so much mana cheat. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? Kind of crazy how good they are. Kindling. Okay, this is already one of the like crazy reckless turns, maybe, if they go really wide here, which I wouldn't be shocked by. Okay. Right now, though, also just a hot streak deals with it, right? So I might want to try to save the reckless for like a, you know, bigger statted board if we see what this one looks like at the end of this, right? Yeah, reckless feels a little premature. Can't exactly do a lot with the hot streak at the moment, though, either. Just trade. Hot streak. Play like a henchman. Feels so bad. I don't know how many cards are in hand, though, so reckless is just way too soon, right? It's just way too soon. It's not time. Could try to draw, but this gets better later. Guess we can go here. We're not damaging our own board, so let's draw off the Frostweave first. No Frost spell this time. Any better fire spell here? Combustion for later is really good, right? I think we like it better than Dragon's Fury, don't we? I don't know. It's close, honestly. I don't need both here. We're not gonna waste We're not gonna waste it. Am I coin a guy? No, we're at 9. We're good. Okay. Flame Waves is just such good work against these kind of boards. I'm gonna have to grind this out though, so I am gonna need some reload because he has like great card draw, and I don't necessarily have great card draw, right? I'm gonna need, I think, like a greedier reload. So I'll probably need to hit whatever it's called, Magister Unchained or whatever. Feels to me like, anyway. Look at this guy, dude. It's crazy. I just don't think I'll be able to win on burst damage because, like, the recycling is just too many minions, too much stuff. It's really rather nuts. I mean, that's a pretty good combustion, isn't it? That takes 3. Doesn't actually die, though. Off flame waves. Go first flame instead. Times 2. I don't even technically need it times 2, but could leave that alive, but it's just too much upside. Too early for reckless. I mean, I guess combustion's fine. Just, am I gonna first flame that or just not? Like, I could have hero powered first, I guess. No, I'm just gonna... Well, I can't leave it, though. Oh, I should have hero powered first. We'll just first flame it. It's excessive, technically, but... lets me get some more minions down safely, too, so it's fine. It's all good. Okay. Do we think they have a really wide board punish here? I don't know. I don't think so. Let's just do our thing. Oh, yeah, combust the 6 health. Oh, yeah, that would have solved the problem. Oh my god, yes, of course. Yeah, just put it to 2. The other ones are gonna die anyway, of course. Yes, chat. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. I just threw away a first flame for nothing, really, then, I guess. Well, I got minions on board, so whatever. Like I said, there's always margins of error with this deck, because you get upside from playing the fire spells sooner rather than later, right? It's not just a value conversation, it's also a upside conversation. I think we have to play this. There's so little spell damage in the deck anyway. Waiting on it and greeting it seems wrong. Frostnova is good for later, yeah. Just go face. We're equipped to handle that guy with Vaporize. No problem. We don't want to waste removal resources yet. Just hang out. I really need card draw, though. We are light on stuff. Tactical mistake. I need... Yeah, I don't know. What's the best? It's really just Magisters, right? Magister. Looming Presence is okay. That's about it. 34 to go. That's 17 fire spells. 35, excuse me. Even more. They're really not reacting to my minions on board at all. I wonder if that means they have the easy answer they're gonna rip later, or what? Just because they have, like, elements, or what? I don't know. You think Book of Shadows? I don't know. Fire Ellie. Yeah, really just ripping face though, man. So 4 damage off Reckless. We could like trade into the Fire Ellie. And then clear and do a ton of damage, but it's just not really at the stage where that's good yet, right? I think we just Frost Nova for now. Wait until he develops more and then start dealing with the board, right? Because the Recklesses, as the board gets wider, the Recklesses get better and better at dealing with them. Let's just hang tight. Avaricious says, "Hey Regis, first time seeing you live. Just wanted to tell you I got your Mad Rat Hunter deck to 10 heroic wins not long ago." Oh, sick, dude. That's awesome. That's really fun. So, I mean, we're happy to let this status quo kind of maintain until I find some card draw. I got 2 Intellects, Looming Presence, and we'd have a really good Magisters at this point because my hand is very empty and I have quite a few low cost spells. So Magisters is probably our best draw. But until they do something to disrupt this state, I don't really need to do anything. Like, if they go wide on board, we'll Reckless. If they keep this board, since I don't have a Frost Nova, I'll probably commit like a second flame and tidy this up, but it's really up to them. You got Starving Crown and can't remember the others. Wow. Cool, dude. That sounds awesome. I'm glad that weird decks like that work in duels rather consistently. Okay, I guess they're sick of Frost Novas, maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure. Alright. Antonitis, huh? Don't have... Oh, yeah, man. That tilted by Frost Nova. Maybe they just didn't have time. Like, oh god, I needed a quick game, and this is a Frost Nova game. Get me out of here. That's wild. Man, Man, I don't want any of these. I mean, theoretically, Top Hat with all of our, like, flames is sort of cool, but it's so low value. All of these are pretty low value. I really don't want to shuffle Horns into the deck. I mean, again, this is kind of cool with all of our 1-2s, but I don't want to draw it, right? I just don't really want to draw it. Aren't we too late to really push for Queldalar? I mean, I do like this just does damage, like lets me clear a minion maybe. It's not bad. I mean, maybe it's this. Everybody's saying Blade or Bust. At least this gives me like some upside or something. I don't know. I kind of didn't like any of them. I wish I could just take an Arcane Intellect. If I could just grab that and put it in my deck, I would, but since I can't, we are not going to. Man, this deck is good, guys. I've played it pretty poorly, to say the least. I remember when we started it, I was like not even paying attention. And we just kind of like coasted. And then since then, it just takes care of itself. You know? Ooh, card draw early. Yes! Make sure we don't run out of cards here. I love it. Okay. Frost Nova and Flurry against a big deck might actually be really vital. Just wondering if I should take a Flame early. Like a Flame spell. Because this is a hand I won't really be doing anything. Like, I don't want to play this, you know, until maybe turn 5 or 6 at the earliest. So will I have time to kind of gather steam here? Do I need to get out a quicker start? I think it's okay. We'll get our 2-drop guy. Hopefully we'll hit like a cheap fire spell. I just know how good these could be against this, right? Oh boy. That is a nightmare combo. Okay. Scepter is so gross, dude. Okay. Okay, I'm nervous. I'm real nervous. I need a lot of fire spell. Oh my god, no! That's so gross, dude. Wow, I can actually kill it. Do I draw 2 cards in the process? I think is the only question I have. Like, is that going to be my best chance to draw cards off these? You know, if I hit Bag of Coins, I say, no, that's idiotic. I think I kind of have to, guys. I don't know. Really sucks, though. Bag of Coins, please. Deck of Lunacy. Bag of Coins, please. I can't even use this. I would, for sure. Alright, I don't know. That didn't really feel worth, honestly. I just feel desperate for answers, right? I need stuff to do. So moving through the deck quicker feels like it's right. I don't know. Maybe not, though. You know, if we hit the right stuff, that play feels so good, but we didn't, so I kind of regret it now. Lunacy's interesting. It gives me a weaker deck, but it gives me high roll potential, right? Like, could be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I regret that play, obviously. I'd say it's 2010. Dude, it's better than 2020. Jacket's Fury's okay, I guess. Kind of don't hate that. Good fire spell, decent removal sometimes. Never great, right? Because like I think 4 mana is our peak, but 4+2 off lane waves, get some 1/2s in hand, right? Like it does things. I think we're gonna have a very big decision point again here with Deck of Lunacy. Like, can I rip a Deck of Lunacy? Oh my god. I don't think so, right? Feels super wrong to me. Forbidden Flame does not clear Dr. Boom here, unfortunately, right? It only deals 6. I just don't think I could deck a Lunacy in good conscience, guys. I think I will throw in a Henchman. I think it's very likely the Boom trades here, right? Which is fine. I can then fire kill it anyhow, or Dragon's Fury kill it, whatever. Man, I took 7 there. That sucks, dude. 7 off the boom bots. 3 and 4. That's stupid. Imagine taking 2 there instead of 7, right? Oh, we'd be so much happier. So, I mean, we're alive. They had a pretty nut opener, and we're not dead. Like, that's all good news, right? I just need to hit the right stuff now. I think I need card draw. Oh, God. Oh. That's 9 health and 6 health. So Dragon's Fury... It's gonna have to Giga roll, I guess. Forbidden Flame will deal 7. I need another fire. I actually could go Dragon's Fury, Forbidden Flame. That deals 4 base plus whatever Dragon's Fury does, right? Oh, Hot Streak is interesting because now I could go Forbidden Flame. That deals 7, and this would deal 9 here and only 4 here, but maybe I go this route instead, though. It does kill one of my 1/2s. Maybe it's better to just rip the Dragon's Fury. Because this is now 4/6 worst case if I want. Or even more technically because the dragons... Yeah, I mean, killing a 1/2 here is not a big deal in the scheme of things, right? Let's throw away our 1/2 just to really deal with this stuff. He might kind of be running out of threats. Be big, be big. Oh. Well, at least I didn't kill my 1/2. So that's 4 damage, right? In fire spells, so I could deal 6, but this doesn't die. But it gets lower at least. At least I didn't kill my 1/2s, guys. I mean, you know, it's fine, whatever. It's all good. It's all good. Grimgrod, dude, thanks to the gifted sub at Frosty Knuckles with 4 months. That's amazing. It's amazing. Man, 4 damage would have been the Giga roll. Looks like this is going to go to 2 health, though, which is not a big problem. He's hero powering, so he must have more stuff in hand that's getting discounted, right? Or maybe just nothing to do, I guess, but 5 mana, I mean, he should have stuff to do. So worst case, I could trade in my little dudes here. Oh, or nope, worst case, I can't interact at all because there's a giant taunt in the way. So Rune Orb Hero Power kills that guy, which certainly seems useful. I need a transform effect, evolving missiles or something. I think I actually have to take Refreshing Spring Water, right? Like, yes, these fire spells are intriguing. They're useful, but I need cards. Currently, I don't have any cards. I need reload. Do we go here? Do 1/2s really help me right now? On board? Not really, right? Only marginally, so. Does Wildfire work with hero power? It does, yeah. It won't. It doesn't update the number on the hover here, but it works. We have certainly tested a lot in the 11 games so far. So, I mean, Frost Nova's cool. We'll hit 2 minions with this always, I know, but it's fine, honestly. I just need to hit any cards. Oh my god, dude. He is just not lacking for stuff to play, is he? Good god, dude. Ignite's interesting. Okay. We're still gonna open here, I think. First Flame is very interesting. Let's just Frost Nova for now and kind of set up for next turn. Between the Ignites and the First Flames, we're going to be able to make a pretty good dent in this, I think. But I want to get more in there if I can, right? I want to turn these Flame Waves damage into more damage if possible. So, I mean, this is 6 damage, right? So front half here, you know, maybe trade into the 8/8 or something. Well, first flame too, I guess, can deal with that. So we'd be leaving a 7/7 up. Can I maybe get through the front half of that? Like if I ignite it and trade and first flame it and then... does anyone know how Flame Waves interacts with this guy? Okay. Okay. Does Flame Waves deal the damage independently or all at once? I think it does like 6 at once, right? I think it does it at once because I remember seeing like -4 or -6, right? So I think I have to like do this the old-fashioned way, unfortunately. Arcane Missiles could be insane. How much mana is this? 4, 5? I mean, we might as well try to missiles this, right? Let's see. Hit it, hit it, hit it. Nice! Once might be all the difference. I actually need to think about this more than I am. Just kind of going because I'm lazy, though. So I'm going to deal 6 always. This is 3. I have the final hit for that. Yeah, this is fine, right? I leave up a 7/7 here. But it's fine. Leave up a 7/7, right? Yeah, it only took 1. I don't know, may not have really showcased much. So they're back to 42. I mean, surely they're running out of cool stuff to do, right? Like big guys to play. I'm not really able to deal with this minion that effectively, though, either, to be honest. I really need like an Arcane Intellect, dude. I'm just dying. Oh, yeah, that's kind of always going to be big, cool stuff to do. Oh, no way, dude. No way, dude. Oh, no, dude. Oh, come on. No, no! Is Mordresh even good enough here? I don't even know if I've hero powered enough. I don't even think Mordresh would be an answer here. Cool, dude. So this was a Hearthstone game. There's no out, right? There's no way to draw. Flame Waves only deals 2. I have to go face. There's just no out here. Our warriors need more space. Jeez, dude. I don't know that we had a shot there. I mean, you know, playing the thing early, right? Like playing the 1 mana card early. That was the pivot point that might have changed things, but we might have died 3 or 4 turns ago if not for having played that earlier, right? Because we got a bit deeper into the deck there, and we were losing all of our cheap spells, so we may not have even had good opportunities to use it later because we were losing the 0 and 1 minute spell in hand. So I don't really feel like that was wrong at a macro level. Just might have been the difference, you know, if we had taken a different line. Just didn't see it, but hard to know which way there is correct. Okay, so that's a good little run regardless. That was a fun surprise Fire Mage run. Came out of nowhere with new stuff. So I didn't want to stream too long today, just because content right now is not, you know, we're waiting for mini set, right? So it's not that exciting to play old cards right now. It's still fun, don't get me wrong, but less exciting. So in other words, I don't know if I want to start a new run. I did want to take a look at all the cards that got revealed and got revealed today and kind of run through those together. I also did want to take a look at this thread from Cora talking about design a little bit. So we might just do those two things for the next hour. Does that sound reasonable to you guys? Sound boring? Sound fun? Sounds fun? Okay. Well, this is on Who Man the U-Man. So if it sucks, it's their fault. Let's take a look at cards first. There's not a good way on this website to filter the ones that got revealed today, unfortunately. So we're going to have to kind of run through these. The ones that got revealed yesterday, like Curse of Agony, you know, we already talked about those on stream yesterday. I don't want to harp on these again today. Let me bring chat up over here. My head's like a little bit in the way. But that's okay. Maybe I'll zoom out just a hair. Yeah, there's no filter for recent or anything either, so we're just gonna have to go through them manually, which is fine. I think I can remember which ones got revealed today. So let's see it. The like Druid card got revealed today. We can talk about that. I think I liked this one a little more than most of you guys, or at least a lot of people on Reddit anyway. I don't know about you guys specifically. I actually thought this was kind of intriguing for Druid. Some people are saying like, oh, 7 mana, but it's like, you know, 7 mana for Druid's not really 7 mana. And I thought this offered a lot more like wide board reactivity than Druid normally has access to, right? Like, I compared this to, in my review, to Infestation, the card that got revealed for Warlock. It's sort of similar, not really, but sort of live in the same space, right? A high cost spell that summons stuff. If we want to pop up Infestation real quick, to me, I feel like Scale is just like 1,000 times better version of Infestation, right? They're both like board reactive tools, basically. But Infestation has this like limitation where it's only good if your opponent has a board. You can't play it proactively at all. You don't have influence over how the minions trade. They just trade, so you know you can't take like good clean trades necessarily. Like obviously the minions are bigger, you know it's better if your opponent exactly has a board full of 2/2s or whatever. Obviously, you know there are specific board states, but on average I feel like Scale just gives you similar sort of, you know, reactive wide board answer, but also gives you proactive tools where you can build the board yourself. If your opponent has nothing, you just summon a big board and buff it. You get to trade to dictate how the trades roll out, right? So if there's like 4 health minions on board, Scale works better than if there's 3 health minions on board. You don't have to take bad trades like with Infestation. And it's always 7 minions instead of, you know, sometimes 1 or 2 on an emptier board. So it's like Scale just does a lot of the same stuff, but it feels like it has more use cases. Plus 7 mana for Druid is theoretically as easy or easier than 6 mana for Warlock. Plus Warlock has tons of great board clears, where Infestation's competing in a lot of ways to like way better board clears. And I don't think it's, again, a good proactive board summoner, so it's mostly going to be a board clear. I mean, that means to me Scale fills a gap for Druid, and it does it better as well. Now, 7 mana is a lot for token decks, right? Like, we've seen some token decks in the past, things like, what was it? Forest's Aid got played, and some of those really grindy Treant token Druids back in the day. So I don't know that this actually makes the cut in Token Druid, because right now they're much faster, right? Like they're 3 to 5 mana is where they start doing crazy things with taunt stuff right now. Oracle Valoon stuff, right? But that won't always be the case, and this will exist in metas where all of that package is not totally available. Although Oracle and a lot of that came out in the same rotation. So, but anyway, but it might be good in just like a Guff deck as a late game threat or removal tool, right? Like you could run this in a more control deck or high mana deck and still probably get some utility out of it. So, I don't know. I actually liked it pretty well. I thought it has some neat use cases. Not every deck's obviously going to want to run it, but I feel like it does enough, and it's smart enough in the way you can use it that I think it'll see some play. What else did we get? We got the new 10 mana mage spell, Drake Fire Amulet. 10 mana tradable, discover 2 dragons and summon them with fire tag there. So this can be replayed off of Dawn Grasp. Can obviously be played off of Ice Blood Tower Of course, in that case, you won't get to pick the dragons, so you might get some pretty garbage ones on occasion. But, you know, it's sort of free at that note. Tradable's nice. You can put it back in the deck if you want for Iceblood Tower or Arcane Brilliance. It was always kind of a problem, but it still feels very slow. And I don't know that the dragon pool is good enough right now. There's just not that many interesting dragons. Maybe Onyxia, when she gets revealed, will be like Giga tier, you know, like insane roll off this or whatever, but I don't know. I'm not super convinced. You look at dragons, and it is Discover as well, so you can't get class dragons other than mage, right? So it's mostly going to be neutral dragons. I mean, I guess Onyxia can be a mage dragon, though, and then you'd be more likely to get her. Well, not more likely because of there's no longer a bias anymore, but you know what I mean, just because you can't get other class dragons, so it's a smaller total pool. So dragon pool right now, actually it needs to be neutral or mage. So neutral, I mean, there's not any like super low rolls, right? A lot of 4s and 5s and a lot of higher cost dragons that are not bad really, right? Blackwing's insane. Some of the 412s with battle cries don't really do much, but they're decent stat lines. And then for mage, it's just called Drake, which isn't bad. That's an ogre, right? With some upside. So, you know, it's not a bad pool. And Onyxia could make it nuts, right? She could definitely improve the quality a lot. So that might be the case. Onyxia will likely be neutral. I actually don't think so. I think Onyxia is going to be mage, maybe, because mage has only been... We've only seen 2 new mage cards so far, right? We got Drakefire and Deep Breath. And every other class is getting 3, I think. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So there's only 2 cards left to reveal, and they're both going to be legendaries. So I think one of them will be mage and one of them will be neutral. You think the blue dragon will be mage? Oh, was there a blue dragon one? Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, here, I'm looking at this. Let's see. I kind of thought he was like a Murazan dragon, to be honest. Like a time dragon guy, whatever they're called. But maybe he's supposed to be blue, yeah. It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, yeah, it's very reasonable, though, that he's a blue dragonflight. And that would certainly be mage. So, yeah, that may be. That may be the mage dragon. This may be the neutral dragon. But, Oh, yeah, you can actually just see the thing. Oh, yeah, this is mage. Yep, this is neutral. Yep. Nope, that solves it. Mage blue. That is not the shaman blue, I don't think. Wouldn't make sense for... Well, you could technically have a blue dragon and shaman, I guess. But that'll be mage then, and yeah, this will be neutral. So never mind. But anyway, he might be an insane dragon, too, that is excellent in the mage pool. And then on top of Onyxia. So conversation stands either way. Whatever the new dragon is might be nuts for mage. Although I don't think that'll be enough to make it good. What did I do here? I goofed up. So I don't think that's going to be a good card. Still just feels too slow to get that package off. What else do we have today? We had Paladin card. No, where was it? Yeah, Ring of Courage. This is intriguing, right? Like, tradable makes any card to me like 3-star floor. Like, that sounds silly, but it's like, if you're tradable, I don't know if you can be less than 3 stars, right? Like, it's always kind of okay if it's tradable. And then, you know, I said like Samuro's kind of cool with this, right? Like, make Samuro crazy board clear potentially. I don't know. I think there's ways to use this, but it's just not, you know, it's only stats. You know, a lot of cards these days, you want it to be a buff with some kind of additional upside. Draw a card, give me lifesteal, give me divine shield, right? Give me stickiness. This doesn't really do any of that bonus, so may just fall a little bit flat. And kind of situational, right? Because if there's, you know, nothing on board, it's just sort of chilling in hand. So, but that said, tradable, you can just dump it, right? You can get something else instead. So it kind of, like, the situationality is almost, you know, counteracted by the tradable. Because wait for that situation, put it back. You know, this isn't a situation where I need this, so put it back. So like I said, I always give those like kind of a floor bonus there. We got a priest card, the Horn of Rathion. This looks good. Just good little card draw. Build some board out of it. Keep up with your opponent a little bit. Seems fine. Works for me. Minion tutoring can be very interesting, and minion tutoring with a little bit of a board build along the way is not bad at all. So this one works for me. Nothing fancy here, but just kind of good. And then we got the new Yeti today. Oh yeah, the Gear Grubber. I'm not convinced. Like, there's a small part of me that thinks this is like, you know, neutral gnome, wild paw knoll. I mean, not gnome, knoll. But I don't think it's ever close, really. Like, defensive knoll. It's like, you don't really want to float mana on 1 and 2 just to play this on 3, right? Arena, sure, yeah, Arena sounds great. Yeah, sure. Where you don't have as consistent of a curve or plays. I mean, there are decks that float mana. Like, don't get me wrong, they don't have a lot to do early on. But, like, you giving up a hero power on 2? What classes? I mean, Priest kind of maybe can give up hero power on 2, but most classes want to weave in a hero power on 2. Then you're not playing, like, it's still a 3 with just turn 1 being passed, you know, play it on 3, but is that good? I don't know. Feels like most decks are going to want to run things that are more focused and more directed in what they're trying to do. This feels kind of like a backup plan more. So it's another one of those cards. Like, yeah, it's fine. It's just fine. Doesn't really cut it these days, you know. What else got revealed today? Is that everything? Well, we haven't talked about Mida, I guess, yet. Mida, pure light. I don't know about this card, guys. Like, it's a little risky. It's one of those cards though where, here's the thing, right? Like it's a 1 turn distinction, right? Like, Light Shower Elemental is kind of the most obvious comparison because they're like 6 mana healy death rattle cards, right? Sometimes you have to play the Light Shower Elemental because you're going to die if you don't. And in those scenarios, obviously Light Shower Elemental is going to be better than Mida. Because, you know, your opponent, if you're almost dead, your opponent can just ignore this and go face, and you're dead. And Light Shower Elemental would have been much better in that scenario. But if you have a 1 turn buffer where you're not going to die on board, you're not worried about being dead, Mida is probably better because you're still going to get some nice healing out of it. If it sticks, and it becomes this thing where your opponent's like, oh man, it's this friction point. It's like, if I leave that up, it has lifesteal. I'm going to get, like, you know, maybe they buff it and I get punished giga hard, right? Maybe they play Elic Mount on this and I'm screwed or whatever. Kind of like in the old days with Apotheosis, where you almost couldn't leave a minion up against Priest because Apotheosis could really punish you. Mida kind of buries that into itself. Like, it has that built-in functionality with lifesteal. And particularly Divine Shield. So, you know, if the game is that 1 turn slow enough for Mida to stick and attack and be alive, it feels nuts. It feels really good, right? But if it's desperation where you have to play that taunted heal guy or whatever equivalent, you know, you have to heal, survive, like this is just too passive, it's not going to make the cut. So it might be very meta dependent. The less efficient aggro decks are, the you know, the higher chance this has to succeed. You know, maybe the more efficient Priest is at like resolving mid game boards, the higher chances has to succeed. Because if you can clear the board on 5, your opponent may not be able to reload a big enough threat on 6 that makes this impossible to play, right? So it kind of just depends on the surrounding factors, whether or not I think this will be too passive or not. It's sort of true that Priest doesn't really need this to create like endless infinite value because they can do so much already with Undying Amulets and Xyrella Hero card. Like, they can just make absurd stuff already. But, you know, if it's free to play it over Light Shower Elemental, it's just more free value. It won't hurt. It just may not really help. So it has some real challenges. But cards like this that have these just like crazy end game states, they're fun, number 1. I love these kind of cards. Number 2, sometimes they just make sense, right? Sometimes it just makes sense. Like, will this eventually overwhelm your opponent, right? Okay. What else got revealed today? Did we forget anything? I feel like I did most of it. Let's take a look. Play Hearthstone. Oh, rogue card. Rogue card. We forgot to talk about rogue card. Yeah, that's all we missed. Okay. Rogue. Yeah, the Tooth of Nefarian. I have trouble loving any honorable kill card, right? To some extent. Like, I like that this has the like flexibility to be played for board and get something out of it, or just the flexibility to go face. It's kind of like the hunter card in that regard, but I don't know. Doesn't feel like the burgle upside's high enough. Doesn't feel like the damage is efficient enough. Seems like 3 mana is too much for Rogue. That's what I talked about in my review. Like, they tend to like as cheap a card as possible. So 3 mana is weirdly kind of awkwardly expensive for Rogue. So I don't know. This feels like it'll fall through the gaps, right? Like, Rogue tends to like optimize and, you know, efficiency. Like they tend to, I guess, optimize and refine their decks to like premium efficiency. Like, they want to be as efficient and tight as possible in how they spend their mana and how they sequence their turns. And I don't feel like this really fits that game plan very well, right? If you have discover stuff, it needs to be like 1 mana. If you have damage, it needs to be high output for like 2 mana, right? It feels like this is a little too inefficient for what Rogue is really trying to do, when Rogue tends to succeed the most. So yes, of course, I'll build Burgle decks with this. Yes, it will be fun. Will it be the best version of Rogue? I don't think so. I don't see how. But it is damage. So, you know, if we get into a rotation, post-rotation spot, I haven't looked at Rogue specifically, but, you know, if we get into a post-rotation world where there's just not enough damage available for Rogue, then this might fall off. But I think Wicked Stab hangs around. I think Garrote hangs around. Yeah, so I don't know. They may not need a card like this, but will like Sinister Strike hang around? Will these other tools hang around in the core set? I don't know. So that would be my only real hope for this card, I think, is if there's just not enough damage sticking into the new rotation, but I think there will be plenty. Oh, I want to do a video, by the way. I don't know. Well, it's going to be a lot of videos, so I don't know if I'll have a lot of time for this, but I think it would be really good content to go through and discuss all of the rotating cards per class and the impact they're going to have on like the class and deck building and stuff, right? So like, what is Rogue losing? How is that going to change the class, kind of thing? What decks struggle because of that, and so on. I think that would be useful, right? Rogue is losing quite a bit, for instance, yeah. Seems like. Isn't it better to do that after we know all the core set changes? Well, I mean, we already know what's rotating. I mean, I guess technically some could move into the core set. Yeah. I don't know when we're going to learn that, though. I don't have forever to do those sort of videos, you know? It's going to be hard. So yeah, I mean, we can talk about the other cards. Did we talk about these on stream yesterday? Oh, we did kind of gloss over them a little bit, but what do you guys think about this card? Is this going to be the most hated card on Hearthstone, or just not? Which is it gonna be? I don't know. There's an in between. Obviously, it's an either or if it's the most hated or not. But do you think this will be a hated card? Do you think it's gonna deal too much damage? How often does it really deal 21? I guess is the question. Does it? How often do you play it with Tamsin and get it to do even more? I don't know. I think there will be a lot of matchups where this just like doesn't get drawn much, you know, like if you're playing against aggro, for instance, like they're not gonna draw these, you know. It's like I spent 2 cards on my deck and 2 mana to deal like 3 damage or something, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it ain't gonna matter. But then again, you know, if it's against a combo deck, they're gonna take 21 for 2 mana. So, I don't know. I'm somewhere in the middle. I think it's got a lot of potential though. Anytime numbers get this big, you know, it's got potential. Numbers get really big on this, so that makes me nervous. And then yeah, Tamsin can make 4 of these. I haven't even done the math. God knows what is the math then? You're taking about what, 12 fatigue damage? Good God. I mean, 12 ticks of fatigue damage, which is ungodly amounts of damage. 78? Okay, there you go. 78. Augmented Elic plus Tamsin. Dude, that sounds really fun and wild, actually. That seems really fun. Like, crazy plays of that, man. Yeah, people keep talking about this with Demon Seed. I mean, they're kind of like different, like separate sides, right? Like Demon Seed, you want to be taking fatigue. This makes your opponent take fatigue. I think it just depends on the meta, right? Like if you're playing Quest Warlock, you have your own win condition, your own game plan. You probably don't need a card like this, but if you're playing a deck without as much of a win condition, or you're weak to like combo or OTK or like heavy cycle decks, you toss these in, right, for like damage. Yeah, I think it looks fun too. I like the idea of punishing people who draw a million cards, right? Like, I love the idea of a quest mage trying to draw through their deck and me just shuffling these in and being like, draw, bro, draw. I dare you. I dare you to draw. Draw more cards. Find that Mozaki. You know what I mean? Like, I like that a lot in theory. So, you're gonna counter Quest Warlocks with this? Well, actually, this would be maybe bad to play with Quest Warlocks, because once they finish their Tamsin, the fatigue damage they take, if it's on their turn, is gonna hurt you. I don't know. Maybe that's what you mean. Maybe you're memeing, but you know, you're gonna take giga damage off these if they're done with their quest. You're gonna be pushing them to fatigue even harder and faster. Counter for Rito decks, yeah, it would be cool if we got some Rito decks back, man. I would love to get Rito decks returned. I think. That would be super, super nice. I would like that very much. Yeah, Ignite stuff, exactly, yeah. Any empty deck strategy, any of that is awesome. Okay. Well, any other interesting cards to talk about? None of these seemed that crazy good to me to talk about. That crazy, shocking, or dynamic. I mean, cool. I like the design so far, but nothing mind-blowing, right? It's hard to find the new cards. Any other really interesting cards? I don't think we've seen any weapons. No weapons, I don't think. I kind of wanted to talk about this card. People seem to like it less than me. People seem to think it's worse than the other one. Than Duskbreaker or whatever. I'm not like convinced that's true. I feel like at the time Duskbreaker was good, yes, there was a very obvious Dragon Priest, and therefore Duskbreaker made a lot of sense. But nowadays, Duskbreaker would be much harder to activate than this card. This card's going to be easier to activate than Duskbreaker in the current context of Hearthstone. I think. Like, yes, you have to have 2 things, but I don't think that's like crazy in Priest keeping a couple spells in hand. I don't know, and I feel like it's just a better body in that case. Like, yes, I realize we're talking about years apart in Hearthstone, but I still think this is a damage breakpoint that feels good. Like 3 damage to boards in the mid game still feels relevant, right? So I don't know. I feel like I feel like it's still gonna go off most of the time you care about it. Maybe it's less consistent than I think, but I think if it said or shadow spell, it would be obviously insane, right? It'd be very easy to activate. But I think the 4/4 stat line is actually pretty meaningful. Like I feel like the 4/4 aspect of this is much more relevant and stickier and harder to deal with than a 3/3. And I guess I don't think it's harder to activate, to be honest, but that seems to be the consensus, that it's a little harder to activate. I understand that there are 2 conditions instead of 1, which sounds harder, but in theory, I still think that's going to be done most of the time. I don't know, maybe I need to play some priests and see how often my hand on turn 4 actually is holding multiple spells. But my thoughts are like, a lot of reactive spells are just chilling in hand as like a grindy or control priest. Like you're not really using them yet. You know, you're saving like AoEs or saving stuff for later. So my thought is like, it's usually in hand, but I don't know, maybe not. Like I'd hate to have the dragon condition today, because I don't know if you want to run a bunch of dragons, right? It would be really hard. So I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Why would you run this over other options? I don't know that Priest has a good card in this slot right now. I think Priest is actually a little bit devoid of mid-game clears. There's like Xyrella, which is kind of a good mid-game clear, but requires mana or cards to go with it sometimes, which can be awkward. You know, it's like, oh, I need to like play a renew or whatever to get it to be good, right? Priest has a lot of cheap clear and high cost clear, I think, at the moment, but not a lot of stuff in the middle. This has been my instinct. I mean, maybe I need to review this theory, because like Condemn, you know, is smaller stuff, particularly on turn 4. It's not even upgraded yet, right? And then you've got like the bigger stuff, like the Soul Mirrors of the world. You have Hysteria at 4, but that's not usually great at like wide boards of smaller things, right? It's usually better against like one big thing and a lot of little stuff, or 2 kind of medium-sized things, or 2 big things. And then you have like Against All Odds at 5, but that's super conditional and weird, like never really works like you want it to. So I thought this was sort of filling in a gap. Holy Nova, I guess, is close, but I feel like 2 health is a big difference from 3 on turn 4. And Shadowward Ruin is, again, not good at these kind of boards. Like, Shadowward Ruin is for more like late game boards usually, or like a cheated thing early. I feel like this slots in really nicely for board state clears that don't exist currently in Priest. I don't know. I'm just higher on this card than most people, I guess. Is there any other card available to Priest right now that does what this does? I would say Holy Nova is the closest, but again, I think that the 3 versus 2 is a big difference for me. Condemn in the late game does the same thing, but you got to get to turn 10. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Devouring Plague is not, you know, that's way less output. Yeah, I don't think Hysteria is equivalent at all, honestly. If your opponent has 4 3/3s, you know, for instance, Hysteria is really bad. You know, or even like a bunch of 3/2s and 2/3s, right? Hysteria is not usually going to line up that well. Hysteria is good against like 5/5s, 4/4s, 8/8s, you know, or 1/8/8 and a bunch of 3/3s, which doesn't usually happen on turn like 4 range, right? Yeah, I that's what I said. It's really Xyrella. Yeah, I agree with that, but Xyrella's awkward sometimes because you have to heal, and it's like then you're running Desperate Prayers or something as your mana card, or waiting till 5 with Renew. So in some ways, I feel like this is like an easier way to do the same thing. But maybe you don't need 3 of those, right? Maybe Xyrella's enough. So I don't know. I thought this filled a nice gap, but I guess I'm alone, or you know, very few of you agree anyway. We'll see. We'll see. You know, that's what we talk about, right? That's how things kind of pop in. That's what we learn, right? Like kind of meta dependent stuff. I liked this card less than most people. I don't know. People like this one better than me. It just doesn't feel like it's enough to me. I don't know. Like I compared it to like derailed coaster or something, right? Where it's like, I don't know. I feel like coaster does more. Like it's obviously shaped a little differently, both the base body and the minions it summons, but it just has more upside. And like if you're going for a wide board strategy, coaster it goes wider for you often, right? I mean, this might end up being just dragon filler for decks that care about dragons because there's not a lot of dragons. I don't know that you're ever going to be super excited to play it though, you know? It's like the 3/6 body, it's like, okay, I got a minion down, but what am I doing with it, you know? It's like, it's not super aggressive. I don't know, it's just a 3, I don't know, I'm just not that excited about it. But people on YouTube were thinking it looked pretty good, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Do you guys think this will live up to Rottnest Drake standards? I'm not seeing it unless we get some discard synergy. Some more discard synergy. I just don't think the game is in the Rottnest Drake world anymore. It is crazy. Rottnest Drake used to be so good. It was so good. Remember how good it was? There were points where people would play Rottnest Drakes and be like, "Oh, the game's over." Like that was just too backbreaking. I can't win. They swung the game so hard, right? Rottnest Drake was just the game ender. That was a legitimate feeling, if you recall, back in the day of Rottnest Drake. And I feel like nowadays, Rottnest Drake would just be like, "Oh, whatever." It's just like, oh, you died to a 1-mana spell with Pirate Warrior now. Like, get out of here, bro. You know? It's like, it's just not the threat that it used to be on board. It felt like you had to invest so much more to deal with things and to create that big of a threat back in the day. So it was very efficient, you know? Also, just 1-to-1 exchanges on board don't do what they used to do, right? It's not as much. So I don't know. You know, if you get good discard synergies, like obviously it looks more interesting. And then if you get more like honest 1-to-1 minion exchanges on board, it looks more interesting. But those aren't things we see a lot of, you know. Yeah, do you guys like this card? I don't know, man. I'm just not sold on it at all. I feel like it's gonna be so awkward. There were people saying it looked pretty good. Like even a dev was like it's better than you think or something. I don't know, man. It feels like it's gonna be awkward to me. Just so awkward. People are saying the 6-drop guy, which I like that card in theory a lot. The big taunt guy, you know, the fell caster, highest cost fell guy. Like I want that to be really good, but and I do like that this is a spell that is never like bad off of Fellwalker, right? Like it's, you know, you don't have to worry about the targets of it or anything, but there are other fell spells you could get that are kind of in the same vein that might just be better, like Fellfire in the Hole, for instance, right? Like, if you look at these, this kind of does this very similar thing, but you get to draw a card. You know, I don't know. They're very similar. So it's not like this is filling a gap that didn't have any other options. You know, there were other fell spells you could have played. So, like, again, you know, if Treants are in fashion and there are 2/2 boards of Treants everywhere, like, sure, Infestation's great, but outside of that, I really worry about it. I just don't know. It's just, it feels like it needs really specific board states to be good. Infestation plus Shady Bartender is 6/5/5 dudes. Wait, well, only if your opponent has a bunch of 0/0 minions on board. Wait, what do you mean? You need Runed Staff? What is Runed Staff? You mean Ruined Mithril Rod, maybe? Yeah, but they're not gonna live. I mean, if they do live, they're not gonna have full health. I mean, if your opponent had 0-3 minions on board or whatever, right? Yes, you could do that, but any other size minion, they're gonna die or get damaged. You know, they have to have a board. I'm just not seeing board states. I'm gonna keep an eye out, like if there are board states that fit this. You know, we'll definitely try it in Duels and FL deck, right? Like we'll try it. I don't want to write it off till we're done. Oh, this card, dude. This card seems crazy too. Guys, I gotta take another pee break. I'm so sorry. I'll be right back. I swear to God. I gotta stop chugging water before the stream. Let's come back and we'll talk about this. Okay, we're back. Can you guys think of any way to make this card good? Like, any way. Any way to make it good. I tried really hard. I wasn't smart enough to think of a way, man. I don't know. 8 mana is just tough. Pull cult shenanigans, right? But here's the thing, like, even if you've pull culted, right? Well, number one, I guess if you pull cult on 7, let's say, right? You play this on 8. What 5 death rattles are you getting to end the game, you know? Like, even 2 owls doesn't really end the game. They might clip a 1/1 on board. It can't be 10 drop if you go pull cult, right? Like, I don't know what... Pull cult on 5, prep smoke screen on 6. If you have, like, the perfect... like, just the perfect hand. I still don't know that that's a game-winning proposition. If everything goes perfectly, I don't know that you've won the game. Like, you've maybe made a good play if it goes perfectly on curve for you. But have you won the game? I think you need to come close to winning the game, honestly, if you're going to spend this much mana. Moarg and Plagued Proto-Drake are the best 8 mana death rattles. Owl, Cursed Vagrant are the best 7 mana death rattles for Rogue. 6 mana, I guess Cairn. That's it, really? I just don't know. There's gonna have to be more death rattles, I think, to make it make sense. I don't know. I don't see it. It's just hard to get the right cards drawn. It's hard to set it up. And then even when you do, I don't think you're usually like creating a game-ending scenario. You're like building a board of stuff or like triggering some interesting death battles, but I don't know. Boars don't even do anything. Once again, we'll remind how boars work because it's always a point of confusion. Boars, the death rattle is irrelevant. The boars themselves have to die. You only need 1 death rattle. You don't need 7 death rattles. You have to kill 7 boars. You can't trigger 7 death rattles. Once the 7th boar dies, then you're good to go. I don't know. Not to mention, I don't even know if getting a turn 8 sword is enough to win. Like, sometimes you're just gonna have a board that kills you, you know, or you'll already be dead. So I don't know, man. Feels really hard. So, okay. I think that's enough chat about the cards there. I actually wanted to take a look at this interesting Twitter thread. And maybe actually another one. Hold up. Cora's been tweeting a lot of awesome stuff. So let's see. How do I... Hold up. Talking about design. I don't know the details of this, but it feels like Cora has definitely been more involved the design of at least this mini set and maybe more overall. She's been tweeting a lot of interesting design insights. Kind of wanted to take a look at more of her tweets. This is going to be a Korra tweet appreciation moment, because I thought there was some really interesting stuff. I'm just going to, I don't know, we'll start here and then we'll go into more deep Korra stuff, because there's actually something that this kicked off that I wanted to talk about from a TFT article. And I definitely want chat up here. Hold up. Let's get chat going. So, all right. So we are looking at Songbird Korra's Twitter here, and she had a really interesting thread on the design of the mini set. I think Korra's had a pretty big hand in designing this one. I actually remember I had dinner with Korra the night before she started at Blizzard. It was so freaking cool. We talked about so much Hearthstone stuff. It's great to see her flourishing. Big Korra fan, of course. And some interesting and I think hopeful thoughts about the design of this set and kind of moving into the future. So let's break down these tweets from Korra. I'm seeing some comments about cards in the Onyxia's Lair mini set, basically boiling down to these cards can't compete with OTK decks. I'd like to share my thoughts. I think that sentiment is like really OTK decks and like quest decks and like fast win conditions, I think, is what I've been seeing people say. Like, you can't play Kazakhstan at 8 mana because your opponent's already winning the game, or like, executing their win condition or getting very near to it, or they've drawn their whole deck, or they're finishing their quest. So how can you play Kazakhstan? Because he's just going to sit there and you're going to be dead. And by the time you draw 3 or 4 treasures to win, you're definitely going to be dead, which I think is a very fair concern, and one I shared in my reviews as well. So Korra's response to that, which I think is very hopeful and like encouraging for the future, is that we've made a real effort in the last few months to reduce the power level and representation of combo OTK in the meta, measuring every card reveal based on whether it can compete versus a quest lock deck is totally reasonable. The landscape will continue to change. With the core set rotation and the release of the first expansion of the new year, I think you'll see an effort to incentivize board-based gameplay. Everyone have a round of applause. Board-based gameplay. It's a dream come true. It's a dream. That's, I think, what so many of us have been itching for. Chat is actually clapping. It feels like the game, like it feels like you're spending so much of your time playing from hand, or even probably more frustrating, watching your opponent play from hand. I feel like that is that's not the way I like to enjoy Hearthstone so much, right? I want the minions on board to mean things. I want their stats to be relevant. I actually think Rush even challenges that a little bit, but I'll take rushing minions killing each other over my opponent playing 17 spells from hand, right? Like, I would still much rather have a rush trade meta than a 17 cards from hand burn damage meta. So caring about the board, what's happening on board, that feels really, really good to me. And she goes on, it's something that I've been personally keeping in mind when designing cards for this upcoming year. That's awesome. Basically, we want as much variety as we can have in a standard cycle. This year, combo OTK flourished, and so we will continue to create decks and balance the meta so other strategies have a chance to flourish as well. A lot of the Onyxia's Lair mini set is designed with that future in mind, and not necessarily just slotting cards into existing decks. Some things certainly would fit the landscape for right now, but we like to think ahead as well. So yeah, TLDR, I'm excited for what we've cooked up for this year, and I think you will be too. Hope you're enjoying the Onyxia's Lair card reveals. So yeah, that's very exciting to hear. Of course, when it comes to execution, there are still concerns like, you can't just make better 8 mana cards if games don't go to 8 mana. So there's going to have to be some kind of disruption or like way to interact or slow down or impede the progress of these very quick win conditions that we've seen throughout the course of the year. I think that's already been slowed down a little bit through nerfs and balance changes, right? It already feels a little better, but I think a real design emphasis that encourages board-based gameplay will make people feel better about it. Like, even if the power level right now is pretty fair and there's no like crazy OTKs rocking your brain every other matchup like there were a few months ago, it's still, there's something about the design emphasis or feel that I think is lacking, and it sounds like that may be fixed as we move into new sets. On top of that, for Onyxia's Lair, sounds like some cards are going to be good now, and some cards probably won't be any good at all for now, and will make sense in the future. I think in regards to dragons in particular, some of these like dragon synergies, it doesn't feel like there's enough good dragons yet, but maybe we'll get like more dragons or some kind of dragon adjacent themed expansion somewhere throughout the year to really pump up the number of dragons. Perhaps sooner rather than later, although I don't know, there's a lot of dragons already here, so they may not want to overdo it, but maybe the core set change too can come in and really shift things around when it comes to that. Seems like I will be returning to Hearthstone. Wow, okay. Oh, that's funny. She said something else here. I think in this thread. Maybe. I don't know. Thought she had another reply here. Probably better to click her name and look at tweets and replies real fast. Oh, her dog's so cute. Oh, here we go. I have a lot of problems with the philosophy of we design with the future in mind. You're basically saying these cards may be useless now, but someday they won't be. Players want to play with new cards, not get them, and then wait months to use them. That's fair, yeah. I mean, I don't think every card needs to be good right away. I think it's fine to plant things to the future, but you want the balance to be good. You don't want like one card to be good and 34 to be saved for later. I think it needs to be a healthy dose that's competitive immediately. Cora responds, mini sets have to strike a balance because they come between sets. With an expansion, we focus on building out new archetypes, but when we only have 3 cards per class, we can do less. You absolutely will be able to utilize these cards now and in different ways throughout the year. Okay, that sounds good. So, this actually, in regards to Cora specifically, and I think I mentioned earlier, Cora's had, I think, an increasing influence on design, it seems like, or at least it seems like she's coming into that, like tweeting a lot more about design. It seems like she had much more direct influence on this mini set and perhaps future sets as well. It sounds like she's very confident speaking to these, which I think might be a really good thing. I am definitely a bit of a Cora, what the cool young kids call, I think, a stan, which I don't even know what that means. But I've heard it. Contextually, I think it means you're a big fan of someone. You like them a lot. Jason C says stan. Simp. I wouldn't say simp, but stan. Like, Cora and I have been friends for a long time. And I think there's an important distinction that Cora brings to design that hasn't always been true in Hearthstone. And this is going to sound a bit like a backhanded compliment, but it's 100% not, I promise. I think over the last year, I felt like Hearthstone has been designed and designed by, perhaps, and particularly designed for people who play at an exceptionally high level. We've seen combos, OTKs, really complex card interactions, a lot of cards per minute, like very high octane Hearthstone, which tends to be enjoyed by people who are at the very peak of Hearthstone. Super optimized, super high level. Professional players have loved like the questline meta and the combo OTK meta. Like, pros are in love with it, right? And although Cora has been very good at Hearthstone, don't get me wrong, like she's competed at high level tournaments. She obviously had an incredible eye as an analytical caster. Like, she was more of a host, I guess, but she was very good at analyzing matchups and meta stuff and has played the high legend, much better Hearthstone player than me. But I still think that, you know, the like Chalkies and Gallons and board controls of the world on the design team are even an upper echelon beyond that, right? And I worry sometimes that the design emphasis has been on incredibly high level play. And I feel like Cora has a much better awareness of like the average player and like the fun focused player. And I am hopeful that if Cora has a bigger design influence, particularly for this mini set and upcoming mini sets, I think we might see more fun focused, more board focused, more, I don't know if casual is the right word, but like more accessible design influence as opposed to like really high octane design influence. And interestingly, I actually saw an article on this. Unrelated to Hearthstone, I guess, in theory, but Riot Mort Dog, or Mort, I think it just goes by Mort here. I think he's Mort Dog or something. I don't know. A designer for TFT, Teamfight Tactics, which has had an enormous surge in popularity lately, actually just wrote an article that kind of shares a similar sentiment in that I'm not going to read this whole article, but this is the TLDR and the kickoff point. Oh, is it too bright? Yeah, I don't know if they have a dark mode, guys. So sorry. I don't know what to do. I don't know if they have a dark mode, man. Does anyone know if there's like a dark mode? None of this looks like dark mode, guys. Blame Riot, man. We got flashbanged. Yeah, I don't know if I have a way to dim it or anything. Dark mode is a browser setting. I've heard you can do that, but it's not really a browser setting. It's like there are like tools, like extensions you can use, right, to force like made up dark modes, right? All right, whatever. We're just gonna deal with it. I don't know. I need to figure out an extension maybe to force dark mode on this sort of stuff. That would be helpful for these kinds of endeavors. So anyway, ignoring that, you're blinded for now. Maybe I'll try to fix this in post. So anyway, flashbang aside, the TLDR here is, in this dev blog, I break down the 3 reasons why the expectation of a dev to be highly ranked in their game is not a worthwhile effort for creating a better game. In other words, you don't have to be #1 legend to design really well. You actually sometimes can be hurt by being #1 legend for designing really well. And Mort breaks down a few reasons that happens. I read through this earlier. I want to summarize it for you, but I got to make sure I find the right points to summarize, essentially. Oh, here, this was a great line, I thought. So when it comes to devs playing the game, do we want them grinding the rank ladder by playing the way high-level guides already tell them to, practicing known combos, and one-tricking a single champ? Or would you rather them use that time to figure out ways to make the game better? And he really goes on to say even more like, if you play like optimized meta things, the best things that help you rank up really highly, you're going to see the same play patterns over and over again. And you don't expose yourself to different play patterns. You don't expose yourself to weaker play patterns and kind of figure out why they're not working, or, you know, what gaps could be filled in. And you don't really experience like different fun sort of things. Your only kind of visibility for fun is like, am I winning or not? As opposed to like, what am I doing? What's making this feel different and feel exciting and feel like a unique, fun sort of experience? So in Hearthstone, I think we've had that problem a lot where off-meta strategies seem to me, or at least by feel, seem to be getting further and further away from refined high-meta decks. And I talked about this a little bit in that sort of previous discussion video where decks are really synergistic and really well-defined, I think, at a design level now. And I think pulling back from that a little bit and opening up different, fun, unique strategies to a slight bump in competitive viability. They don't need to be tier 1. Just closing the gap so that weird, wacky stuff can be played and can be had fun. Even I have a 35% win rate. I want a 35% win rate, not a 2% win rate, right? I need to be able to experience it and have fun. So I thought that was really insightful. I worry sometimes Hearthstone trended a little too much towards the like hyper efficient, super skilled sort of gameplay. And I think that drove a lot of people away. And it's interesting because like streamers and professional players have spoken very highly of those sorts of metas, but I think a lot of you guys haven't. And I actually feel like this happens as well when it comes to content creation. I think a lot of creators lose sight of the casual part of the player base. and create content that's optimized for like the best 100 players in the world. And it's like, well, when you make content that's for top 100 legend, how many viewers are you going to get that it's relevant to? 100, right? Like, you're limiting your content to 100 people. If you make content that's fun for the you know, people at platinum, suddenly your player base or your audience base expands tremendously to include stuff that's fun for everybody. And, you know, obviously, you know, sort of goal setting, high-end content can still be entertaining and educational for people at lower ranks. You just have to keep in mind your audience and not kind of speaking over their head a little bit as well. So, you know, in other words, I dumb it down for you guys. I don't dumb it down. We're all just dumb together, right? I try to make stuff that I think is fun and enjoyable for everybody, essentially. So, there was one other point I liked a lot. Actually, let's see. I think I can find that line. Yeah, here we go. This spoke so much to me. I really like this a lot. The truth that competitive players often push back on is that if you want millions of players, you need a game that millions of players can enjoy. High-level players and more junior designers will often make the mistake of designing the game for themselves, which leads to inaccessible games. TFT is guilty of that to an extent, but it's something we're getting better at with more accessible, big vertical traits. I don't know about TFT enough to continue there, but I love that sentiment so much. I feel like you have to really keep in mind the bottom of the player base as well as the top of the player base. Now, to be fair to the Hearthstone team, and I named like the most skilled people on the Hearthstone team I could think of, Chalky and Gallon and Borgjold. This wasn't intended as a slight against them, because even like, I think it was Gallon maybe mentioned on Twitter, like when we make balance decisions, we don't just consider the top of the meta, we consider the bottom or middle of the meta as well. And that's why things like Pirate Warrior got nerfed. So I think they're doing a great job, or at least a better job, of acknowledging that and making sure the game is designed for a nice wide range of players. So and historically, Hearthstone has done a much better job of that than most games. Like, I think TFT is really hard to get into. I'm glad to hear they're kind of shifting that, and it seems like it's paying off dividends because it's grown a ton recently. But I just want Hearthstone to keep that in mind always, and I think Cora is going to do a great job of doing that, I guess is what I'm getting at. So you know, it's good to have a mix. It's good to have diversity of metas and mix things up all in all. So it's okay that we have these kind of metas, but I personally enjoy more accessible, more casual, more goofy metas as opposed to really optimized ones. So I hope the shift is coming soon. You know, selfishly, greedily, I want the shift to come sooner rather than later. So did that make sense to you guys? Like, do you agree with that sentiment? Like, does that logic sound good to you? Yes. Yep. Pretty on point. Yes. Yep. Okay, cool. I forgot what you said. I actually did want to, there was like actually more Cora Twitter that was really interesting. I don't know if I would be able to track all this down, but she was offering some like more immediate insights on card design, which are really cool. So Mita, the new Priest Legendary, went into this design wanting to make something that would be useful for Death Rattle Priest deck ideally, because Zyrella's story this year was all about finding the shards to save her daughter. Yeah, that's of course good flavor. It made sense that you'd want to play this card in the same deck that would play Zyrealla. It's no secret that this has some similarities to Waxadread, but this is more refined in a class that actually wants it. Yeah, I agree with that. It definitely takes the Waxadread to more synergistic fitting sort of plays. Rogue was never interested in having perpetual resources, but Priest wants to go long. We tested some different keyword combinations. Lifesteal was taken off for a while, but this is what we liked best. Interesting. I wonder if Taunt was like too good or too annoying. Probably was. I wonder if they tried Taunt. Taunt, Divine Shield, no Lifesteal. That might have been just too much. How did we come up with the name Mita? A Naru name generator. I like the way it sounded and nobody fought me on it. Oh, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Is there a reason the card doesn't have Taunt? Oh, here we go. That's a good question. Honestly, it's been over a year since I made this design. I can't say there's a specific reason. I will say, though, that it's less impactful than Light Shower in the Mita, but the long game of Mita does feel really impactful. That's exactly what we talked about earlier when we were reviewing these cards and discussing these cards on stream. Legit question, any reasoning behind the fact that Priest is getting a second legendary from mini set while classes like Paladin, Hunter, Demon Hunter still haven't gotten any? Good question. We want to give every class a mini set legendary before we double up, ideally, but it made sense for Naru to fit Priest in specifically. I'm fine with that. I think adherence to like these like systematic like numerical things just for the sake of adhering to a systematic numerical thing is not particularly useful. I am a little sad if you're like a Hunter main, you don't get a legendary or whatever. I get that, but I'd rather than make good decisions for the game and meta and flavor as opposed to just like, well, we got to keep the numbers even. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba. I don't agree with that at all. All classes should be treated equally. Well, I mean, why though? Is it just because you think like players only play one class and then those classes should all get legendaries? Or is it like adherence to a just numerical tidiness? Do you know what I mean? Like I can vibe with the first, maybe not as much with the second, if that makes sense. Numbers for the sake of numbers don't mean much. I'd rather like the storyline and the meta be in a good spot than like all these numbers match. You know what I mean? Ideally, if you could achieve both, I mean, yeah, that would be great. Let's see. I'm looking for more interesting Korra tweets, design tweets. Yeah. Okay. Okay, here's a lot, actually. Third batch of Onyxia's Lair card reveals. Let's talk about them. Stormwind Avenger. This is the 1/5 buff attack scaler. Believe this card came about later in the process. I'm not sure when. Pretty decent buff and hand buff target, and something we've gotten some good use out of internally. Intriguing. So they're saying it might be solid. Battle Vicar. This card is just plain good. Another one that came about further along in the process, but probably going to be a Paladin staple for a while. I don't believe that as much, but who am I to say? I haven't played it yet. We've got some very complex cards in this mini set. You'll see one later today. So something like this is nice. I do like the simplicity of it. It is a clean design. Smuggler, one of the most ridiculous art descriptions we've ever written as a team. An Asian female human, SI7 secret agent, deep undercover as a dragon whelp in a bad costume, but somehow not getting discovered, hiding amongst the eggs. I love it. Good job on us. It did turn out great. Can't really see it well here, but that is hilarious artwork. Smoke Screen, I believe this is the most expensive spell we've ever made for Rogue. Very excited to see greedy Death Row Rogue decks. Even if they're not tier 1, that is code for it. It's going to suck. Okay, at least that's confirmation. I bet they'll be tier fun. Yeah, it will be fun. Spirit Mount, we wanted to make a mount card, no comment on the image. I guess that is the fact that it looks like Brucon is very dead in this artwork. He's a ghost. Bracing Cold. This is a design that changed pretty late in the game, a month or two ago. Wow. It used to read, restore 6 health to your hero, reduce the cost of spells in your hand by 1. So they basically didn't want more crazy cost reduction. Turns out mass cost reduction isn't a great idea. Don't say we never learned anything. Thank God for that. That sounds like a very important change. And Infestation. This is a fun one. We played quite a bit with it in Final Balance, and it was really strong. Fellwalker, which is an Alterac Valley. I actually designed to go with this card. We knew it wouldn't be great on launch, but after this comes out, maybe it's more playable. I'm not convinced, but I hope she's right. I want Fel Warlock to be a thing. Curse of Agony, more dots! This was called more dots until somebody said that was too meta. Turns out that dot spells are usually represented by some sort of curse in Hearthstone, so we ended up here. Maybe more dots will turn up somewhere else, though. Oh. Hit it very hard. I couldn't get away with more dots, but hit it very hard, managed to squeak through. I think the effect fits the flavor really well. Already seeing people interested in this plus Mare Noggenfogger. Just a reminder, this is the gain plus an attack with Mare Noggenfogger to go face. Should be fun. And then finally, Shoulder Check. We had to get a tradable card in this set. Nothing too flashy, but maybe you can find some use alongside a Whelp Bunker for controlled card draw. Yeah, okay. I think there was maybe one more of these threads. Or maybe even 2 more. I don't know. These are interesting to me, though, so I want to run through them really quickly. Cora dropping knowledge bombs on Twitter. I love it. Oh, there's a follow-up to Infestation here, too. This card was originally called Ultimate Infestation, in reference to Druid, of course. And for a while, it was deal 3 damage to all minions, draw 3 cards, summon a 3/3 Dread Imp. That sounds way stronger. Maybe too good, though, because that is obviously like Tamsin, and I think she says later on, we borrowed that design for Tamsin. Yeah. It was changed to 6 mana and the Tamsin design, yeah. Crazy. More dots. I wonder where that's going to show up. We saw mini whelps, but I don't think we saw more dots, did we? Maybe like duels or something. Every time I say stuff like that, I think you guys think I know something and I'm teasing you. I do not. I promise you I do not. Okay, here's another thread. Okay, cool. More Onyxia's Lair card reveals today. Let's go through them and talk about design stuff. Wings of Hate. We wanted to make a new rank spell in this set as a throwback to Forged in the Barrens, but all 10 classes already had one. So how do we decide on Demon Hunter? I honestly don't know. It's a good card, though. Okay, that's funny. I am not convinced it holds up. Somebody on YouTube, I mean, they made an interesting argument that, like, you know, Lost in the Jungle and Living Roots and now even Wolpertinger all got played. And this is those at a base level, but for some reason, I'm just not convinced. I don't know why. I just am not convinced it's going to be good enough for Demon Hunter. It's like, maybe it's because Demon Hunter has hero power on 1 and it feels like they always have something to do. I mean, obviously it's better than hero power, but you know what I mean? Like, just the like mana fill isn't as important in Demon Hunter. Dragonbane Shot. This was a card I believe designed in Final Design. I know they went back and forth a bit on mana text. At the time we were going back to do final balance for the set, Quest Hunter was looking a bit scary, so this card almost got axed. Interesting. Furious Howl was originally a 1 mana buff. Right now it's the draw 3 cards if you need a refresher. Draw a card, repeat until you have at least 3. It read, whenever you summon a beast this turn, give it +1/+2. I'm pretty happy with where it ended up, though. Both serve a similar token aggro hunter archetype, just in different ways. I feel like that would have been perhaps underwhelming. Some crazy stuff with like Unleash the Hounds, I guess, but I don't know. 1 mana is really cheap, though. Might have been good with any kind of hyena stuff. Keen Reflex. This piece originally didn't have Honorable Kill, but it was very similar design. Final Design put Honorable Kill on it and made it make a lot more sense in the context of the year. They're good at their jobs. That is the deal damage one. I just need to look at these so you guys can get a Raid Negotiator, choose 1 card, Razor Glaives like the Outcast Draw, Boomkins, Damage or Heal, Pet Collector, summon a 5-drop. So we can talk about these next time more easily. Razor Glaive Sentinel, Outcast support piece without having to say Outcast. It's a bit expensive for a low curve Demon Hunter deck. That's what we talked about, like it versus Luna. It feels a little expensive, but you can have some pretty sweet turns with this. It's important for Demon Hunter to have good card draw options. Boomkin says, here comes the Boomkin. They really let me get away with a lot as far as names in this set. If you couldn't tell, I'm a very top-down designer. My designs are often inspired by flavor and story. That is exactly how I do it too for custom cards. This is one of those pieces. The sub-spell art is pretty too. Always like seeing the choose 1 art. And the combined art is always fun. Pet Collector, and one of the cutest cards we've ever made. The golden art for this piece is adorable. I can't take credit for this design, but I like it a lot. It's fun to play alongside Rat King or Teacher's Pet. Yeah. Good old collecting Rat Kings. Good old Rat Kings. Were there any other cards? Was this like the second day of reveals? Did she do one more of these threads? The initial reveals, maybe? Cannot remember at all. What days came out of what cards? Oh, here we go. Here we go. First reveals. Okay. So, first reveals are live. Spawn of Deathwing, first card of a 4-card cycle. You'll see the other 3 later, but maybe you can guess the theme. Oh, well, we haven't seen these, have we? Spawns? What was the cycle? Spawn of things? Dragon class cards? I don't know what the cycle was. Destroy random enemy minion? No. Maybe she means in a future set? Well, we've seen all but 2 cards, so I can't think of anything else that fits the cycle. Maybe they'll come in the core set or something? Like, when would they come? It'd be interesting for her to tease them from a future set. Nothing fits. Onyxia and Mage Legendary Dragon missing. Well, yeah, but that's only 2. What would the cycle be? Is there any other card that lines up with this somehow? Like a spawn, a destroy a random minion, I don't feel like I would consider Horn something that shares so many attributes that it would be a cycle. Half the stats of an existing card, that might be a good way to explain the cycle, but again, I don't feel like any of the Alterac Valley cards meet that. So to give an example of a cycle, like the parrots were cycles in Deadmines, right? The parrots that repeat whatever you just did, that's like a card cycle. So they were all parrots, they all like repeated a spell or death rattle or whatever. I don't feel like any of the cards in Alterac Valley are similarly cycled. Oh, maybe Horn of Wrathion, Tooth of Nefarian, and Spawn of Deathwing. It's kind of like, yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, I would say like these items are cycles, like Ring of Courage is. I think this would be a cycle with that. Like the gear, because like the amulet, the ring, like that's all gear you would wear when fighting Onyxia, I think. Especially if it was fire resist. I don't remember all the details. I remember the Drakefire amulet was pretty important, but it's like how you got into the raid or something, right? But these would be like, I would expect these to be more direct than like Horn or Scale. I would expect like Spawn of, yeah, exactly. Maybe, I don't know. We'll find out anyway. I don't know. Deep Breath, the mage spell that deals damage based on spells in hand. One of Onyxia's iconic abilities during the raid. I wanted it to reflect the ability by doing something cool to minions in the center of the board, a la Enter the Coliseum, but it was a bit too niche of a design. Okay. Lightmaw Netherdrake, Holy Shadow Split Dragon, because it was originally the design that ended up on Spirit Guide. We liked it so much that we pulled it up to main set, and final design made this a new card. Interesting. Cool. Onyxian Drake, Control Dragon Warrior rules. Yes, I'd like to hear that. Onyxian Warder, I had to bring back the typical dragon condition. I really wanted to bring back Onyxia's Whelps. Giving them Rush will hopefully mean they're playable in 2022 land. You'll be seeing more of them. We did with the Druid card already. Whelp Bonker, in the final mini set of the year, we like to use keywords and mechanics from previous sets. Frenzy and Honorable Kill made sense together, and neutral card draw is a good option. He was also supposed to be called Whelp Smasher. I don't know who changed the name. Interesting. We've had Bonker already in Battlegrounds, but don't stand in the fire. This was called The Floor is Lava for months and months, but there's already a Duels treasure with that name, so we had to change it. Good job, Duels. Stealing names. Cora says also this is only 7 out of 35 cards in the set. We're not going to show off all the best cards first. Yeah, that definitely seemed to be true. Were you in charge of the mini set? Oh, we didn't know this. I broke off from the team for 2 weeks to do the first designs for the mini set. Oh, sick. Good job, Cora. I really like them. A lot of interesting designs. Kazakhstan, of course, #1, obviously. Like, my God, super fun. So, yeah, there we go. Thank you, Cora, for the design insights. Interesting stuff indeed. I like seeing the behind the scenes. Even if you don't like all the designs, I think you got to appreciate the opening up and chatting about it with everybody. I think that's cool. Let's open a pack. and I'm probably gonna hop off. I don't really have time to start a new duels run. I don't really want to get anything standard rolling. You know, new stuff comes out on Tuesdays, so we're kind of in a holding pattern here when it comes to content a little bit, but just wanted to chat with you guys. So I'm gonna go order some food for the wife and I, and get ready for card reviews tomorrow, or review probably just one. I don't like doing two if they're too close together. I only like doing two if they're like, you know, maybe 8 to 12 hours apart. There is one coming out late tonight. I guess it's gonna be a legendary. There's a chance I do that review at like 2 a.m. this morning or whatever, but it's still probably a little too close to the other one to make it worth the trouble. So yeah, I may edit all that stuff together as a video too for YouTube, see if they care about that. But we also need to get some of those duels runs up before Tuesday. Might be hard to do. I have 2 good duels runs I want to turn into videos that we're out of time for. So I will see you guys tomorrow, I think, and we'll probably just do another duels run, chill, easy stream, talk about the last few cards or whatever. Some short low commitment streams here until Tuesday, where we'll stream a bunch because we got to play Kazakhstan. I want to get Quel'Dalar in standard. I want to play Kazakhstan everything, priest and warrior. I want to play Death Rattle Priest. Looks super fun. I want to get a duels run with new stuff. Tuesday is going to be a long stream. We got a lot of fun to do on Tuesday. This mini set, although, you know, just a mini set, I feel like it's a lot of stuff to do. Fun, cool decks to try. So anyway, I'll drop a raid before I go, and I'll see y'all soon. Thanks for hanging out today. Appreciate your time. I'll see y'all soon. Love and attention. Thanks for hanging out today. And kindness and meanness. If you're who was it? What was his name? What was the guy that called me a ginger bleep? Well, I forgot his name. Oh yeah, woke capitalist. Bless your woke capitalist. Glad chat wasn't up then. Yeah, raid. Have fun with the raid. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. Have fun out there in the Hearthstone world. Thanks for watching, and until next time, game on.